Welcome back to my channel, friends. My name is Ten, and today is a very special day. Today is the 1 year anniversary of when I started my vermicomposting journey. A year ago on this day, I received my order of worms from Uncle Jim's worm farm, and it was also the day that I put my whole entire bin together and introduced the worms to their brand new space. So, as some of you may know, about 2 months ago, I did a hard reset on my bin. I harvested about 20 pounds of castings from my vermi hut, and I was able to reset all 5 trays basically with fresh cardboard, fresh food, ready for the worms to start doing their thing. And as a special treat, you see me pulling out worms. For your enjoyment, I'm going to do a little time lapse of the worms, so stay tuned to the end of the video for that. This tray is the most recently fed tray. This one is about 2 weeks ago when I added food here. And as you can see, there's still bits. The cardboard is still pretty fresh. Not really much going on. This is tray number 2. I was really impressed with this one because when I put it underneath the first tray, there was a lot of plant matter here, a lot of green plant matter, lots of food, lots of stuff that wasn't decomposed yet. When I took this layer off, I was incredibly surprised that, lo and behold, there's nothing here but castings. There's some cardboard here and there, but it's loaded with worms. You don't even have to dig anywhere. There's so many of them. Any tiny little scratch of the soil, and it just hundreds of worms everywhere. Also, besides a couple of small little pieces of cardboard, there really isn't much going on here. They've pretty much taken care of everything. So what's gonna happen is tray number 2, which this is gonna become tray number 3. And then in a month, I'll end up harvesting these castings. I wasn't expecting them to do this much work in 2 months. Literally in 2 months, they have created maybe 5 pounds of castings in there, maybe a little more. So incredibly impressive. As you can see, there's some mango pits that haven't broken down. You could see, of course, avocado skins. They famously do not want to break down. And yeah, just taking as much worms as I could find, all the easy ones, just to be able to grab them. It's been an awesome experience doing vermicomposting. I am 100% hooked. I love it. Apparently my plants love it. Everything I put that stuff under seems to respond so positively to it. I am gonna keep doing vermicomposting as long as I can. Alright, let's take a look at the other trays, what's going on there. This is tray number 3. And as you can see, they got in here a little bit. There's castings, there's worms there. There's really not so much craziness going on in this layer because it's just basically a drip layer to make sure that the water or any kind of moisture doesn't end up dripping all the way through, because that moisture contains all the microbes that the worms love to eat. So you want to keep those microbes. All right, here we are at tray number 4. You could see less and less on this tray, but there's still plenty of worms. And I didn't expect there to be as many as there was with all this dry cardboard, but hey, sometimes they just want to go to a drier place, you know, dry out their feet a little bit, or tail, I guess. Plus, worms are naturally inquisitive, so they like to explore new places, new things, and that's what usually gets them in trouble. Sometimes they go off exploring so far away that they can't get back to their moisture in time, and they end up drying out. But yeah, look, tray number 5. And still plenty of worms. They're basically in one little corner where it seems to be a little more moist, but all the way down to layer 5, tray 5, and there's plenty of fat, healthy looking worms. And remember, I did a hard reset 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, it was just cardboard. Just shredded cardboard. And in 2 months, that's all the work they did. I wasn't expecting this too. At the very bottom of the tray, there was so many worms there. I didn't want to leave them there because, like I mentioned before, they love exploring new places, but then they get caught in some dry place and end up dying and drying out. So I feel bad for them. Here you could see a few of these little beetles that have been plaguing my bin, crawling around. That's why I'm never, ever, 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 ever putting corn husks into my worm bin. I ended up getting those beetles from the corn husks that I got from the grocery store when it was on sale. Never again. They could keep their corn husks in their grocery store. Here we are putting the trays back. And like I said before, originally it was obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The order that I'm putting them back in is tray number 5, tray number 4. What was originally tray number 2 is going to become tray number 3. What was originally tray number 1 is going to become tray number 2. And what was originally tray number 3 is going to become the top tray, where I'm going to put a fresh batch of food, flour, and grit for the worms to come explore upwards. As they run out of food lower down below, they're gonna slowly migrate upwards to where all the goods and deliciousness is. This is the original top tray. This is gonna become tray number 2 so that they could keep breaking this down. I guarantee you in a month when I check back there, it's gonna just be all castings. There's gonna be nothing in there besides maybe a few shreds of cardboard. Here we are with my food supreme. Basically, 70% of it is spent tea leaves, because I absolutely love drinking tea, and I make about 2 liters worth every single day. So plenty of tea leaves to go. There's some bananas in there. There's some old iceberg lettuce. I have my little worm grit mix, which has some azomite, some basalt rock dust, and some glacial rock dust, so that there's nutrients for the worms, for the soil. I have my awesome paper shredder, which I had to get because shredding cardboard with scissors was gonna be the death of my hand. So super glad I invested the $50 to get this awesome paper shredder. It's made my life so much easier. And like we mentioned, the worms love that dry, and the wet, and they love exploring different places. So for those of you that stayed through the whole video, here we are with the time lapse. I hope you enjoy. All right, to finish things off, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some diatomaceous earth because of those beetles that I mentioned before being a little bit of a problem. This stuff will go in between all their hard body parts and hopefully keeps on eliminating them. So far, it's been working really well for me. A wet newspaper to keep things moist in there, and then the lid. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I'm 10, and happy growing.